5 signs a UC or Crohn's flare is coming. Catch it before you're in the bathroom for days. Here is something almost nobody with UC or Crohn's gets told. Flares do not actually come out of nowhere. I know it sounds like they always mostly do. One day you're fine, and the next day you're planning your entire life around the nearest bathroom. But your body was already telling you 3 days ago, sometimes a week ago, sometimes longer, that the flare was on its way. You just did not know what you were looking at. And I want to fix that for you today. Because once you can read the signals, once you can catch the flare in the warning phase instead of the destruction phase, you can change your entire relationship with this disease. You stop being ambushed, you start staying ahead of it. In the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through the 5 early warning signs that a flare is coming. Specific things to watch for in your body. By the end, you will know exactly what to track and when to act. You are not going to be surprised by your gut again. Because right now, the cycle probably looks something like this. You go a few weeks, things feel okay, you let your guard down a little bit. Maybe you eat something you have been avoiding, maybe a stressful week hits, and then out of nowhere, it feels like the urgency comes back, the blood comes back, the bathroom planning comes back, and you spend the next 10, 14 days fighting your way out of it. By the time you know you were flaring, it was already a full-blown flare. There was no warning. There was a warning. You just did not know the language. Before I get into it, quick note, nothing here is medical advice. You always work with your doctor on your treatment. The signs I'm about to share are tools of awareness, not replacements for medical care. By the way, hi, I'm Vanashree, Ayurvedic doctor with 13 plus years working specifically with UC and Crohn's patients. And one of the very first things I teach my patients, even before we change a single food item, is how to read their own body. Because once they can read their body, they catch flares very early. And early intervention is dramatically easier than late intervention. I'm going to walk you through the 5 early warning signs. Each one is something subtle, something most people dismiss. But when you start watching for them, the pattern is unmistakable. And after the 5th one, I'm going to actually tell you exactly what to do the moment you spot them. Sign 1. Your sleep starts changing. The first and foremost sign, and one of the earliest, is that your sleep will start changing. Not in a dramatic way, very quietly. Maybe you start waking up around 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning for no apparent reason. Maybe you have trouble falling asleep when you normally do drop right off. Maybe your sleep is technically the same length, but you wake up feeling like you did not actually rest. This happens because the gut and the nervous system are in constant conversation. And one of the very first places that conversation shows up is your sleep. Before the inflammation hits the gut lining in any way you can feel, the nervous system is already starting to wind up and the body wakes up because of it. Your sleep is one of the first places your gut talks to. Most people miss it because they're listening with their stomachs instead of their whole body. When I have my patients track their flares backwards, which I always do, this is the first homework I give them. Almost every single one of them sees the same thing. A week before the flare, the sleep just gets weird. They did not connect it at that time. They thought it was stress, coffee, or just one of those weeks. It was their gut. So what to look for? Waking up between 2 to 4 a.m. for no clear reason. Restless sleep, vivid or unsettling dreams when you don't normally have them. Feeling unrested even after 7 to 8 hours. If you suddenly notice your sleep is off and you cannot explain it, this is a flag. And while your sleep is shifting, something else is usually changing right alongside it. Sign number 2, a subtle shift in your energy or mood. I want to emphasize the word subtle. This is not depression. This is not a full-blown meltdown. It is a quiet version. You feel a little flat, a little anxious for no obvious reason, a little more irritable with people around you, or you find yourself dragging through the afternoon when you usually have decent energy. This happens because as your gut starts to inflame, it produces what Ayurveda calls as ama, this undigested sticky residue, and the body has to spend energy dealing with that. The energy comes from somewhere. It comes from your mood. It comes from your spark. Before your gut tells you it's flaring, your mood often tells you first. Your body is rerouting energy and you can feel it. And this is a sign my patients are most surprised by every single time. They will say, Vanashree, my mood has been off, but I don't know why. I haven't been stressed. And then few days later, the flare arrives. The mood was the messenger. The flare was the message. So, what to look for? Unexplained low-grade anxiety, especially in the morning or in the evening. Feeling flat or muted, short fuse than usual, an afternoon energy crash that hits harder than normal. None of these alone are alarming, but combined with anything else on this list, they are a big flag. Real quick, if this is the first time anyone has shown you how to read your body this way, hit subscribe. I make a new video every single week on UC, Crohn's, and the things nobody told you about. Okay, back to it. The third sign is one your body literally shows you. Your tongue tells you a whole lot about your flare. In Ayurveda, the tongue is a map of your digestion. We have been reading tongues for over 3,000 years because what is happening in the gut shows up on the tongue first, usually before any other physical symptom. A healthy tongue is pink, evenly colored, not too dry, not too wet, and clear or only very thin clear coating. When a flare is brewing, your tongue starts to change, and most of the time it changes days before you feel anything in your gut. Your tongue is reading everything in your gut every morning. You just need to read your tongue. So what to look for? Tomorrow morning before you brush your teeth, go look at the tongue in the mirror and then do it every morning for 2 weeks straight. You're looking at the subtle changes, a thicker white coating across the back or the middle of the tongue. That is the ama building up. That's the undigested residue. A yellow tinge to that coating means that the heat is building up, often that the gut is running too hot. And a shiny tongue with cracks, meaning that the heat is already built too much in your system. And if there are like edges on the tongue, like marked edges, that means congestion or slowed digestion. Every single one of them is the gut sending a system report. This is one of the first things I teach every patient, and within 2 to 3 weeks of daily tongue checking, almost every one of them comes back to me saying the same thing. Vanashree, my tongue changed 3 days before my last flare. I would have never noticed if I hadn't been looking for it. So sign number 4, subtle changes in your bowel movements. Now mark my words. I am saying it's the shifts in your bowel movements, but I want to be specific because I'm not talking about a full-blown urgency or blood in your stools. By the time this hit, the flare is already there. I'm talking about the subtle shifts in the days before the flare hits. A slight shift on how often things are changing. The stool starts looking a little bit different, looser than usual or oddly drier or with a different smell. There may be small amounts of mucus that were not there last week. These are all the gut whispering before it starts shouting. Most patients only notice the shouting. The whispers are where the warning lives. By the time there's urgency or blood, the flare has already arrived. The warning was in the small changes 3 or 4 days before. And I know this is not exactly dinner party conversation, but this is one of the most reliable signals, and you are the only person who is going to notice it for yourself. Your doctor is not going to ask, your family is not going to ask. You have to be the one paying attention. 2 minutes of awareness in the morning can give you a 3-day head start on your flare. Super cool. So what to look for? Frequency changing, going more or less often than your usual. Timing shifting, stool looking different in form or color, new traces of mucus, increased gas or bloating. That is unusual for you. Any of these alone are fine, but more together, especially with any of the other first 3 signs, are a big flag. And the 5th sign is one of the most that people dismiss as nothing and realize in hindsight that it was the loudest signals of all. Sign number 5, a specific kind of craving. The 5th sign is craving the wrong things, specifically craving the foods that you know did not agree with you, like sugar, cold things, bread, dairy, spicy food, the exact stuff that when you are well, you will know to be careful with. And suddenly you want it hard, like want it real hard. This is your imbalance literally asking to be fed. In Ayurveda, the dosha is running out of control, craves more of itself. Like if it's pitta, the hot, sharp energy will crave cold, sweet, sharp things. If it's vata, irregular, dry, anxious energy will crave crunchy, dry, salty things, even coffee and stimulants. The body is asking thinking of what it makes it worse. And if you give in, the fuel will flare the fire like anything. When your body suddenly craves the foods you know are wrong for you, that's not a weakness. That's the flare trying to feed itself. Every single time a patient tells me, I was good for 2 months and then I just had this weird ice cream craving and I gave in, and next week I flared. It's not a moral failure. It's the sign number 5. The ice cream did not cause the flare. The flare was already coming. The rising imbalance was asking for the fuel. So what to look for is sudden cravings for foods you usually do not crave, especially cold, sweet, spicy, or processed foods, especially the ones that have triggered you before. Cravings that feel out of character or unusually strong. This sign almost never travels alone. When it shows up, at least one of the other 4 is usually present with it. And now, here is what to do in the moment you notice these signs starting to stack up. Let's say you notice your sleep got weird, your mood is a little bit off, and your tongue is suddenly coated. 3 signs at once. What do? First, you do not panic and do not start throwing supplements at it. You do not try a brand new diet. You do the exact opposite. You simplify. Immediately switch to warm, cooked, easy to digest food. Like khichdi is one of the simplest Ayurvedic meals, which is a mix of rice and mung beans. Soups, broth, cooked vegetables. Nothing raw, cold, or heavy or spicy. You are giving your fire a break. Drink warm water throughout the day. Go to bed earlier. Cut alcohol, caffeine, anything that's going to push the system harder. Drop intense workouts down to walking. And anything that feels serious or is escalating, call your doctor. These tools work alongside your care, not in place of it. When the warning signs show up, the answer is not more. Not more food, more supplements, more efforts. The answer is less. Less of everything. Let your body finish what it's trying to do. So tonight, here is what I want you to actually do. Get a small notebook or open a notebook on your phone. Title it Flare Tracker. And every single morning for the next 2 weeks, take 30 seconds and write down 5 things. How you slept, how your mood is, what your tongue looks like, how your bowel movement was, and any unusual cravings. That is it. 30 seconds a day. In 2 weeks, you will start to see your own pattern. It's mind-boggling. And the first time you spot 2 to 3 of these stacking, you will know what to do. You will know to act early, and you will, for the first time, get ahead of a flare instead of being run over by one. Your body is not betraying you, trust me. It has been talking to you this entire time. The only problem is no one has ever taught you the language. Now you have a little bit of that language, so use it. Get curious about your sleep, your mood, your tongue, your bathroom, your cravings. Not as things to be anxious about, as things to listen to. You will be so surprised, really surprised at how much your body has been trying to tell you and how much shorter your flares can be when you actually start listening. Now in the next video, this is the one I have been wanting to give you guys. I'm going to talk you through the exact 3-step Ayurvedic system I have used with every single one of my UC and Crohn's patients. The analyze, build, and restore formula. The order matters. The steps matter. Once you understand this, you understand why everything you have tried before has not held, and you understand what does. This is the next video, so click right here. I will see you there.